Right.
I'm calling this meeting to order. Ms. Siegel is in Costa Rica and the other two I haven't heard from, so I don't know what the story is, so that's the way that goes. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes of December 9th, which I realize some of you just got to now?
Quickly read.
So why don't we all take a minute and scan it?
Accept.
All right. I mentioned something to Kara. I said, we can't get stuff an hour and a half before the meeting. We need it the day before. Agendas was done. Minutes should have been done. And I know they were because I talked to Carolyn. So I think we need to reiterate that situation. Again, in reference to the minutes of the 9th, are any corrections, additions, or deletions?
Aren't we missing something though?
I don't know.
What's that?
Are we missing something about a discussion about the fireworks in the old
That's the
business?
agenda for.
Or?
That's the agenda for tonight.
In tonight's agenda.
I know, but I mean, in the minutes, didn't we discuss the fireworks and where they were gonna be held? What location?
Is that the last?
Wasn't it the last meeting that Betsy was
I
here?
think it was the meeting before that.
To me, is the meeting.
And I don't see anything in here about it.
Well, because it was the meeting before. It was in October,
Yeah.
not November. Once again, I'll take a motion for approval or,
On the floor.
okay, second,
Second.
great. Any corrections, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. No, nobody is opposed, Carolyn. It would be considered unanimous. There are no parks usage requests. Old business. Anything? Nope. New business. Use of the fireworks at town events discussion.
I asked Ilana to put this on the agenda, just, as a note that when I was watching the fireworks as they started, just a really large flock of birds just were flushed out of the trees around town hall. And it was a little bit, disconcerting.
Wait a minute, the birds came out of the trees here
Yeah.
and the fireworks are over there.
Yes, they were just kind of flying in a flock above our heads and like toward Main Street. And I just thought we should consider, I don't know, the safety of fireworks or just, you know. Welfare of the animals.
I don't know. Well,
I know they scare our dogs, but.
Yeah.
It's 20.
I also know if I was to do this, I would put it at town meeting on the warrant and you would get your butts beat because most people enjoy them. So I will tell you that there are dogs. I know a lot of people who do doggy downers, you know?
I just thought it was something to, call your attention to, just because it was.
So Debbie, do you have anything you want to say about it?
No.
Paul,
I have something to say. though.
I want to know, we're talking about fireworks in general. We're talking about fireworks in general at Memorial Field, not a specific night. Because the person who needs to respond to that was not invited for tonight, so it would be hard to go on to that if they're not here to discuss it. If you have any general statements, absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna ask Mr. DPW over here, what's the damage to the field?
In the
Right now, it appears not much of anything, but we'll see how the grass recovers in the spring.
So you don't think it's much?
Until it thaws out, can't really tell too much.
Paul, I've looked at it a couple times, and the one thing I'm gonna say is that if we have water and thaw and rain and thaw and rain and thaw, it may just level out. It may not be an issue, and it may be an issue, and Betsy has been put on notice. I will tell you that if there is a problem, that either the chamber will pay for it or the fireworks company will pay for it.
Well, I'm just gonna bring it up. that I just don't understand why, as far as I'm concerned, they ignored something which that's why I was looking for it in the minutes. I specifically had said where they were gonna be held, and it was told that they were gonna be on the, running track by the gate. Yet, there's tracks that are in the middle of the field, far removed from the gate. So I'm just wondering how all that happened.
Joe, could you
So
fill
I'm
us
gonna
in?
have to wait until next meeting,
No,
and if Betsy's gonna be invited to come and explain all this, I will withhold my comments.
well, I want Joe to explain. He's already done some background on this, so could you fill us in?
I don't think there's any further need to drag Betsy into this. She said if there is damage, they'll take care of it, they'll work with us to take care of it. But so the morning I called you to let you know I hadn't seen it. So I immediately reached out to Betsy and I'm like, hey, what happened? And it sounds to me that, the DPW, Steve Larkin had a conversation with Betsy about using the warning track for vehicles like we did last year. When it was under construction, use the gate out back. They were gonna launch fireworks in the grass, but no vehicles would be off the warning track. So that was explained to Betsy. Betsy passed it on to the fireworks company. It seems the person Betsy talked to at the fireworks company was not the individual on site. So it was lost in translation. So I said, well, Betsy, I said, we can't have that and have damage and stuff like that. So the thought process in discussion with Betsy next year, if they so choose to do it again, we will be there, a DPW representative will be there to unlock the gate for the fireworks company, go over the rules before they drive in. So it worked real well last year. There was, if you recall, there was even some caution ribbon up because we didn't want them going into the work areas. So I'd say it, but I just think it was a miscommunication or lack of communication. And not even on Betsy's part. So again, I don't think the damage is much of anything. If anything comes out of it, it's a little topsoil and seed just to fill the rock. But we might be able to just roll it, or they might be able to roll it if it needs to be. So again, I don't think it's much of anything other than it looks terrible because they drove on it when frost was on the grass.
Right.
So it looks bad.
But do you think that it's your responsibility, DPW's responsibility to see to it that things are done right, or is it the people to whom we gave the permission
Ideally,
responsibility?
yeah, ideally, it's the person or the group with anyone that uses our park, so we get permission to be responsible for it, but things slip through the cracks, They do all the time. They were cleaning up tacos underneath the bleachers at the Who's Dome. Was it the farmer's market? Was it whatever? It just stuff happens.
It was the parents of the people eating at the kids playing games. So do we tell the Whoosy Basketball League, you need to get up there and do that? No. DPW goes in. I was there when they were pulling out the bleachers and they were raking up tacos.
Operating, but they know that.
Yeah. Right.
We just do our due diligence to work with them and. We usually unlock the gate the Friday before, when they use it for fireworks, and we just leave it dummy locked so they can get in. It's not a big deal to have Steve or I there, to school them, the actual people that are gonna be there, what to do and what not to do. We're simple of sending someone down there for 20 minutes to put up some stakes and ribbons.
Right.
Gotta stay off the running areas.
Right.
So again, I thank God it wasn't bad. So I hate to see something that everybody seemed, or a lot of people seem to enjoy go away just because of miscommunication. I think we can manage it better, but make it a non-issue.
All right, well, I'm certainly sure that next year when they come, I will bring up the issue.
And rightly so. Rightly so.
Because as far as I'm concerned, they don't have to do it there, they can do it in another place. Or they don't have to do it at all. Period, but there are other places they can do it. They could do it in the parking lot of the co-op. They could do it down in Olympia Meadows, cause you can still see the fireworks. It's that, you don't go down there to look at the people shooting off the fireworks, so they don't even have to be. In the area, they could send them down to the parking lot, parking area down in Olympia Meadows, and they can do all those stuff they wanna do in the driveway area by where you put the barriers.
Both the 2 years I've been involved with it here, they did a good job picking up after themselves. There was nothing we had to do last year, was nothing we had to do. So,
Okay.
I think what we'll do is let Alana come back. I think talking about it in January, it's kind of silly because, there may be, who knows? So I think these concerns, Ms. Andujar's concerns and Paul's concerns can all be reviewed. I don't think we have to throw anything out at this point. I think Joe's information is helpful. I was contacted that morning and also talked to Betsy at great length about it. Thousands of people show up for fireworks. They love it and it gets people downtown. So I think that, there may be some tricks to the trade and we got to get them straightened out. So that's what we'll do. All righty. Who's he doing pickleball fees? I will tell you that the person that was gonna teach had to withdraw, not only from here, but from Pittsfield and from Steventown. And we may have a guy coming down from Pittsfield who's not gonna charge anybody. He's gonna run free clinics. So my theory is that we don't have to discuss fees because nobody's paying anything. His name is Mike Gallardi. He's done a lot of stuff. He actually set up the whole pickleball at the 5 different courts in Pittsfield. He's quite good and he wants to do it for nothing. And we're gonna review, the core group's gonna review all that Monday. Wednesday, a bunch of us are meeting for coffee after pickleball. So I'll get back to you guys when we know what we're doing. Okay? Any questions, concerns?
Clinics?
Yeah. People who want to start intro to pickleball. I noticed somebody standing there watching the other day.
Yeah,
I
I was
like,
checking my inventory.
you had to get your right coffee cups. I think it'd be an interesting thing to see with a pickleball paddle, Terry, personally. Joe, parks revolving fund usage.
I have nothing really to add about that. It's there, it's available to be used. There's a couple, $2,500 in it or something.
Yeah.
One thing that we talked about that may go into it is, if the gentleman that drove on the field down at Olympia, it's fine, the money will go in here. But I talked to the VA's office today and they may do some community service with them.
Good, he can fill up ruts.
Those who haven't stayed in dugouts down there so we could.
Oh, I'd love to help with that detail.
So anyways, there's not too much on the revolving fund.
Yeah.
CPA, all I know, Karen could probably give you more of an update. We submitted and presented the 2 CPA applications to step 2.
Right, CPA evaluated, and voted in the affirmative for the 107,000. Steve, correct me if I've got the number, 107,000 for the maintenance and, upgrading of equipment, and denied any funds for the, Olympian Meadows upgrade. One of the things CPA would like to see is a security system down there, so we don't do a whole lot of work and then somebody goes and trashes it. So we're hoping that over the next, that consideration is brought up between DPW, the police department, and maybe parks, that we can help to camera that. Like Mansfield and the Bruberski Park. So it's cameras, so we can figure out who's doing what, when, and how. So that's where that is at this point. Parks maintenance, Joe?
Not much going on other than to tag on to what you just talked about with the cameras. If you go by Housatonic, you'll see the stainless steel cabinet installed. So electricians finishing up their work there and going to, Lake Mansfield after that, and then the final step will be working it out, inspecting for the cameras. So we're making headway.
Good. Yeah, because I think the idea of vandalism is not high in January. It's more a summer issue. Community liaisons update. I don't know. She's not here to liaison. Citizens speak. Okay. Commissioner, Julie.
I have an idea that I'd like to float, nothing for the immediate future, but, what would it take, maybe to put up a seasonal ice skating rink? I know it's outrageous,
Honey, I've done this for 10 years.
but, I don't know, I think Memorial Field, just because it doesn't get a lot, any use in the winter time, I think would be a great.
Julie, I think you need to go back. I'm gonna tell you how to take care of this. You need to go back and read the minutes from the last, 7 or 8 or 9 years ago between Charlie Boudelier and myself and the flooding of the field and the puncturing of the liner and all the stuff that went on there, not being able to find volunteers and everything else. Then this high school decided it'd be a great idea to put up portable ice rinks up on the lower soccer field by where you work. Yeah,
Like a greenhouse.
right. We didn't have enough cold weather to make ice. It has not been a very successful, tried in many different, the only other thing that's worked is if we have really cold is shoveling off Lake Mansfield to make a spot to snow. But the problem is nobody wants to take the liability of telling you if the ice is safe.
But like Mansfield, if it freezes, it freezes, if its conditions are good, it's great.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like just a temporary thing like they do like in Boston, I mean, I don't know how expensive something like that.
What they do in Boston though, is they have generators there that pump onto the ice to keep it cold. The problem, Karen's right, the problem's here, and I didn't participate, Charlie and Karen did,
Yeah.
is that first of all, you need a string of cold weather, which unfortunately we're in climate warming right now. Second of all, they would work at night, get it all set, and some idiot would go walk on it.
And
all
stop
their
it.
work would be for nothing. And then they would get good ice, and 2 days later, it would be 40 degrees, and you have to start all over again. It's very successful as far as people love it, and it's too bad we can't do it, but it's been a real problem.
And the high school bought these 2 rinks, okay?
What?
They bought 2 outdoor rinks, 2 outdoor portable rinks.
Okay, well,
They're sitting in storage. Yeah,
Cause it's not as easy as it sounds. I
so
think was the reason.
so you're saying that like in Boston, it's a generator that.
Yeah, Joe probably knows better than I do, but if you go to the Boston Common,
Yeah,
you can see there's portable generators there pumping cold air. under
there's
it.
$250,000 of infrastructure in order to have that happen.
ah,
And I will tell you, based on budget constraints, I guarantee that won't happen here. And we tried, believe me, we got the plastic, Charlie Boudelier and I were out there at 11:30 at night with fire hoses. It was colder than we even had, oh my God.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's a skate park, not Memorial Field. Skate park is conducive for that. Because, and when it was originally designed, it was designed to be flooded.
Right,
Everything you say is right. It would be very popular. It's just impossible with the weather and the amount of work it
It's
takes.
even long before the skate park, when it was just a parking lot down back there, the fire department used to go down and flood it all the time.
right.
And you'd spend hours and hours and hours, you had nice ice, you get a 40-degree day.
yeah.
And it
yeah.
becomes slush and then it's like,
Slush, and then people walk on it, now you got
it's like
slush.
skating on a Slurpee. It
Would be impossible without a generator.
is not impossible, but it also takes an incredible amount of person hours. And the person hours are the problem because it's not fun. It's not like sitting at the beach watching the children swim. It's colder than a witch's gazaza and you get wet. It's not fun.
The other problem is you might,
Resurface the ice.
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
might get 5, 10 good days out of the whole winter, but for the amount of work they put into it, I don't take credit for it, but what they put into it just wasn't worth it.
We even came up with a system, we came up with a portable Zamboni. We made our own Zamboni with a hose and mop heads, so it would draw over the ice and we could resurface it. But it was brutally cold, and I'm 72, I ain't doing it no more.
Cause to make ice, you need cold.
Darling, I love it when you talk like this.
Venues in Barrington that are, I mean, town owned, I can't think of anyone, but that would like hold a skate, like not even an ice skating rink, but like a roller rink. Or any, I think right now we only have like for indoor sports is the bowling, right? And I just wonder, are there any?
It's a good point, it's lacking around here,
Yeah,
winter time is
so
tough,
great,
Yeah.
just to have another like indoor recreation.
Used to be a roller rink.
yeah.
There
Behind,
used to be a roller rink.
yeah. Where around the triplex area.
Does Monterey still have their,
Yes,
do their rink?
Yeah.
But they have it covered. So
Oh, it's
that if
fully
another day
roofed.
where it's sunny, there's a roof there and the sun is still in the shade, and if it's cold like it's been here, the ice would be okay.
Yeah,
But as soon as you do it on down here, and I believe the thing isn't level anymore, is it?
and yeah,
Then we have a problem with it was, one area was higher than the other, so the water would drain down here, and it'd have concrete up here. And, you know, it was,
right.
you know,
Not from lack of trying.
when I grew up down in that area, because I lived on Bridge Street, that was always flooded. And it was flooded by, actually, Coach Alfonso, who was the
mm-hmm,
as that teacher at the old Searles High School. And they would, and it worked out well, but it took many man hours and you need volunteers to go down and do it. And as Karen says, it's just not that kind of a world anymore for people to just.
it's like the next thing, that top two, oh my God, here we go again, is, can we get an ice skating rink? And the second is, why don't we have a dog park? I mean, seriously, historically, you cannot believe the amount of time and effort that's been put into those things. It's just
That's like,
dead ending, may I say. Christine Ward and I started 14 years ago on a dog park and never have gotten anywhere. So now that we've shot that down, Sir Debbie, would you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, so a few people have mentioned to me that the Whoosie Dome has been used by kids after hours without adult supervision. I don't know any like specific details, but I just thought it would be good to know like who has the code and to make sure that the code isn't being overly shared.
Can you check that out, Chuck?
It's probably time to change the code.
Yeah, so
I think
maybe
that's
it's
what you're
time to
saying,
change the code, but once we change it, also to tell the people who
Yeah,
do have the
we have a
code.
list when we've done in the past, with Carolyn, I think the last time we changed when Carolyn was here.
Yeah,
We have a
it's
list
time.
that we send it out.
Yeah,
Well, the other thing that would be prudent, okay, is why the police department doesn't have an idea of when that's supposed to be there, and when they do a drive-by, if the lights are on, go walk through it. Go see what's going on. I mean,
And also that back door, many a times,
it's not locked.
the double door. That is a problem door.
It is, unfortunately, it's $10,000 to replace it.
It's a fire door, so you can't just, it's a fire door, you can't chain it shut.
Right.
It doesn't stay closed sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's a pain.
They jig it just right, it'll open.
Right, the other thing I will tell you is like, I was there
Other door.
this morning, no, what's today, Monday, Sunday, yesterday morning. It's, the parents that are watching
Sorry, guys.
the game, there's muddy shoes everywhere. Somebody is not, I don't know how often the guys clean it. But people are not taking care of the floor. Pickleball, you have to change your shoes. You cannot, but people walk in and out of that building and it's all along the sides where the bleachers are. I know it's where the parents are watching hoops. I know it. Sorry, bud. And people are just sloppy. And it's getting all over the floor and the grit and everything else. So I don't know who's responsible to clean it, but
well, someone like someone from Who's Hoops sent a nice message to all the parents talking about cleaning them up after themselves after all the snacks and
Good.
and yesterday, were you there yesterday?
Every
It
week,
seemed cleaner.
it wasn't as bad.
It wasn't as bad.
That's a better way of putting it.
At cleanup time afterwards, when we push the bleachers in, now that we know how you can push them in
Without killing yourself.
without killing yourself.
You should see 4 old ladies try to push those babies in. Oof.
So maybe they could also send a message just about making sure
And we
to,
do, run the mop around it,
yeah,
afterwards and.
but just to the parents to make.
I'm not blaming Whoosy Hoops. I really am not. What I'm blaming is the parents.
No, they send a message
The
to
kids
the
are
parents,
good.
letting you
They're good
know.
about changing their shoes before they come in.
Well, except in halftime, then all the kids are in their Crocs. out in the middle of the
So
floor.
it's,
So,
So, well, I don't know how we solve that.
that you can't.
It's easy, the referees used to solve that. They'd
Yeah,
stand in the
referees could
middle
say,
and
"Get
say,
off the court."
Get off the floor so someone doesn't get hurt.
Yeah,
So, one of the thought process and plan was to move the entry doors in front of the bleachers. Move it down so you have to go through that room and in front of the bleachers. I had a hell of a time finding an engineer that would take on a small little job to give me a stamp plan. We had one show up last week. So again, it's money, it's maybe something the DPW guys can do, is open it up, so instead of walking in and going to the court, you walk in and you walk in front of the bleachers, so you don't have people cutting the corner,
yeah, that's.
you know?
Good idea.
So anyways, there's a couple thought processes, it takes time to get it all to happen. And then, the Whoosy Dome is getting used more. And
Oh, my God, yes.
And I had a conversation with Matt about, a little bit of a mess, because my guys, the DPW guys go there 3 days a week to do basic, bathrooms and entryways and stuff like that.
It's a mess.
And there was one day they walked in there and they could smell something. That was the taco day. So anyways,
I believe he did have a discussion with that one coach who brings the tacos and sits there and.
yeah.
And if
Chows
you
down.
know who the guy is, you'd be surprised that he would drop any food.
Well, that's.
Easy, Terry. We're being recorded.
That's what I told. Who's the head, kind of the head of buildings and grounds. It's worth him taking a look at it, once a week or something, because we spent probably the better part of a day with 3 guys really cleaning that place a couple of weeks ago. Not that people aren't doing it, but sometimes you just gotta roll up your sleeve and do a real good job, and that's what we did. So we might have to fit that in a little bit more up, especially when it's being used heavily with Parks and Grown and basketball and everybody else. We clean down hall a lot because it gets used a lot. So it's a growing pain. And I don't think there's a lack of cooperation for the people that are using it either, but we just have to pay a little more attention to it.
I mean, I can tell you from pickleball, because we're there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. We're constantly picking up bottles and water and kids' underwear and it needs a little more policing from that era. Would you, and Terry's nodding, so I know I'm not offending him, but
No,
I mean, these are all grandmothers and stuff, and we're all like trying to keep it, cause, there's maybe 12 adults.
group of us after every Sunday put in plenty of time doing that, but it's the coaches that are there during the week.
Yeah,
Gotta have the responsibility to pick up the bottles and stuff after.
all you gotta do is
after
do
their
a
feed.
scan, the 360 and look, it's not that hard.
Mm.
It's everywhere. I mean, there's water bottles and Gatorade and all that other jazz. Anything else for Debbie? Paul?
No, nothing, thank you.
Day late and $1 short, you got anything? Good.
No.
I'll take a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Sorry.
45 minutes. No,
Yeah.
half an hour. All righty.